All right, hello everyone. Welcome to Core That's Core That. That's the sign for Core That. This is our webinar. This is our fourth webinar so far. I'm really excited to introduce our three presenters today. Before we begin, I'm going to do a little bit of housekeeping, making sure everybody's all good and sorted out. Please mute yourselves. We do have interpreters who are hearing, who, for those who don't know sign, so make sure you guys mute yourselves. Feel free to keep your videos on or off. It's up to you guys. You can use the chat function during this presentation. We will have a 30-minute presentation and then a 30-minute Q&A at the end. During the beginning, the 30-minute webinar, I'll keep moderation of the chat questions and I'll share them with the presenters at the 30-minute Q&A. So anything you guys are curious about or want expansion on, please feel free to use the chat function during the first 30 minutes. Before I forget, let me introduce myself. My name is Sam Bragg. I work as an outdoor educator for Core That. It's been 2 years since I've been working with Core That and I really love it there. I'm really excited to welcome our three presenters today. They're called the BBT, Biking Across America, their journey from Washington State all the way over to Virginia. We'll show you some pictures of their journey. Any questions or anything you want to know more about, please feel free to enter that into the chat. Or if you'd rather sign that, please wait until the remaining 30 minutes, the Q&A at the end of the webinar. You may do that at that time. All right, I'm going to go ahead and introduce our three presenters. I'm really excited. Are you guys excited to watch them for the next 30 minutes? All right, I'm going to share my screen. Do you guys want me to wait or go ahead? All right.
All right. Hello, everybody. Happy to be here. Isabel. Hi, I'm Isabel. I'm Bree. Oh, sorry. I'm Bree, Bridget, or this is my sign name. And I'm Amelia. Well, we are thrilled that you are joining us today. I know that many of you had wondered, how many hours a day, how many miles did we go? What things did we bring with us? Before I even started biking, I had that question in my mind as well, how do you do this? And I'm sure that you all had the same question. So looking forward to having a conversation about it. Brie, I'm actually looking forward to the Q&A portion. I know the three of us haven't had a chance to really talk about this trip with people. So I'm really excited to have that 30-minute block to just have that conversation with you all. Isabel, yes, this is a beautiful light. This is actually a really important part of our trip. We use this every day. Brie, this is called Luminade. It's actually donated to us by Off the Grid Missions, which is a deaf-led organization. And they provided these lights to us because they knew that this was really important gear to have and that we would use every day. And this is actually supplies that they would provide for their own organization and the people that they support. So we use these lights every day. We use them to get people's attention. We use it to talk at night, to clean, to cook, to pack in the dark, or really early in the morning or really late at night. So we use this light, and it's not electric, it's actually solar powered. And you can actually connect it to your bike, but it's solar powered as well. Isabel, yeah, you can see the bike with the little square behind it that's actually charging right now. Some places didn't have any electricity or plugs, and so we could actually use that light to plug in our phones. And Bree, yeah, actually, we never had any issues with our phones dying. We could have fully charged phones for safety reasons. We could use the map. We could, for contact. So it's really nice to have that available to us. Amelia, you could see the three of us, we were having a FaceTime call, and we were talking to the founder of Off the Grid Missions. And so we partnered with them before we even started this bike trip. And that was actually one of our original plans, was to have Off the Grid Missions be part of this process. And they're a really wonderful organization, and I really wanted to partner with them and raise money for them. And we met our target, and she's a very helpful woman, very sweet woman, very powerful. She's a role model to me, and really helped us through this trip, and with the supplies they donated and their contact, always making sure that they are keeping in touch with us and that we have everything that we need, and keeping up with all the updates. And so we couldn't have done this without their support. And we were really motivated to raise this money to donate to this organization. So it was great to have this partnership. Amelia, day one. Bree, this is actually -1, -0. This is before our first day. Isabel, yeah, so we had to fly. We didn't actually mail our things. We actually brought it with us on our flight. So you could see that this box is, all of our bikes were taken apart. And so there was one thing that was really funny about this day. I actually missed my first flight while Bree and Amelia were already arrived in Washington. I missed the first flight, and that was my first cry of the trip. It also caused my last cry of the trip, but the line was crazy. I even got there 2 hours early, and I still missed the flight. So, at the gate, they blocked me off. And so at 3 o'clock, they changed the flight for me. And so I had to do it later in the afternoon. And so my bike actually arrived there before I could get there. And Amelia, yeah, I checked to make sure that bike got there. Isabel, yeah, so we arrived, and we arrived at our house for a couple of days before we started the trip. Bria, it was very fortunate that we didn't actually start our bike trip that day. So that was really nice that it worked out. Amelia, it was really nice to have everyone get together that day. And, we drove over to our Airbnb, and we had all of our bikes connected and hooked up again, making sure that we had our gear and making sure that we're all packed and ready to go. I'll always remember that day. Bree, so that trip to the Airbnb, the three of us sat in the back of the truck, and we just talked for the first time together in person. And, it was just the three of us just talking for the first time. And, it was, we connected so long ago, and it was about 73 months later. And then we finally got together, and we were able to talk in person. And Amelia, yeah, it was really wonderful to ride together as well. Isabel, yeah, when we flew, actually, we didn't go to Washington first. We flew into Portland first, and then we had to drive to Long Beach, Washington from Portland. Bree, so this is actually our first day. Isabel, very early in the morning. Amelia, I think it was about 7:30. Yeah, we kind of delayed it a little bit because, it took us a little while. My dad's truck drove on the beach and actually got stuck on the beach. Couldn't get out. So, he said, "Oh, you guys all go, I'll figure this out. You go on your trip." And luckily he did get out safely, his truck. But, it was very fortunate that we had our bikes, because we would have been stuck there with the truck. But we were able to go on our bikes. Isabel, it was very, very cold in that morning. We had our pants and our rain jackets on. Bree, you can see in that second photo, the tent in the woods. That was our first night of camping. And it was just kind of like, wow, this is our first time doing this, setting up our tents, using our little shower, actually the campground shower. But, it was our first eating dinner together, and we decided to go out and get some pizza. You can see the clothesline with the towel. Those were some of the things that we brought with us. The clothesline packs really small, and the towel is also packs very flat into a small square. And so it's very easy to pack and very light, and it dries quickly. So that's definitely one of the gear that we use the entire trip. Amelia, that tent is from REI, which was sponsored with REI as long as, they also sponsored the interpreters as well. So REI is really great for providing that kind of supplies to us and the gear, and they supported us to our last day, and that tent really lasted us. And so, for all three of us, it actually fit perfectly. And we had sleeping pads and sleeping bags and pillows, and it fit us perfectly. So it was great. Bree, yeah, even some nights when it was heavy rain, um, you know, it's not always going to be waterproof. There's still some seepage, but honestly, it did keep us dry. There were, of course, a few drops, but, we slept through the night. We were able to stay dry, and, it never failed to really keep us dry throughout the night, throughout those storms. So it's a very nice tent. Here's our snacks, our food. Isabel, our favorite. This is our go-to food. It's very easy. Go ahead, Bree. Bree, yeah, every morning we have tortillas with, you know, fruit and peanut butter. We're all vegan. Amelia, yeah, I didn't even realize that. Bree, so, I joined Isabel and Amelia for a while. I actually, went ahead and took the challenge to become vegan. And, I actually made it through just fine with all the energy. My stomach felt good. Every day I felt great. And so, that was worth maybe 2 or 3 days, this picture, 2 to 3 days of breakfast and lunch. There's bars, granola, tortillas, fruit, peanut butter. Amelia, very good fuel as well. It really did keep us running. Isabel, it was really cool, being vegan on the trip. Vegans don't really need refrigerators because, most things are just room temperature, which means we can just put in our backpacks. Sometimes the sun would melt some things, but it's not too bad. It's not like we couldn't eat it if it was melted. So that was actually really nice that we didn't have to worry about refrigerating our food. Amelia, you can see on the right picture, there's the pots and pans and the stove. That's what we used throughout the trip, about 6 months. This is from Solo Stove Company. And so this stove is actually environmentally friendly. The way that you ignite it is using wood. So there's no gas or anything. And that can be hard to replace. And so it's better to use wood because it's easier to collect and it's easier to dispose as well. So it came with 3 pots and some forks, or more like a fork and a spoon together. You can see the fire starter in this little Ziploc bag in the top corner. That was our favorite. Oh, and then we also have our favorite food in every bag. We had that for every meal. And so that was definitely great. And this meal was, easy to put in the pot and pan. It's vegan. What was it? Bolognese pasta. Yeah, Bolognese, I think. But yeah, we found it in the store and you just have to add some boiling water and that's all you need. And it's delicious. We all really enjoyed it. The same thing with that upper corner. We made pasta that day as well. Isabel, yeah, we would find pasta. If we couldn't find things in the store, we'd get it from the gas station, just regular pasta, some red sauce and, some beans or some canned vegetables. Brie, it's not the best, but it's still good. Amelia, yeah, it's still good for energy. Brie, just imagine biking all day and then you arrive at your campsite and you're looking for little twigs. You start burning that and then you just eat, and you're always outside. Your tent is right next to you. Your friends are right around you and you're just eating. You feel like, wow, life is simple. So I do miss that. Amelia, definitely. Amelia, that day, whew, Isabel. Yeah, there were some accidents that happened. So this accident happened. Not many people know, but my tire. Well, at first it was my chain, so it was jammed, and so I tried to pull it and it seemed to be okay. But then when I got there, I checked it out and I didn't realize that the actual spoke had came out. And so that would cause, a flat tire. And we would, the next bike shop was like 165 miles away. And so, we had to think, okay, we tried to ride through and then, on the steeper parts, we could just kind of cruise on down. But we did get 9 bent spokes. One was completely popped off. So, we had to replace all that. So that was kind of funny. Brie, I know that some people don't know what a spoke is, but in a bike wheel, there's those lines that go all the way around the wheel. Those spokes are really important for a bike. You need that to have it be functioning with your tires. If one spoke is broken, you do need to fix that immediately. So for 9 to break, and then we still made it to the next bike shop was incredible. Isabel, yeah, I didn't actually realize that my bike had an extra spoke on the side on the body. So I'm not that knowledgeable about biking, and so I asked someone who knew more about biking, and they said, "Yeah, you have an extra spoke." I had no idea. I got to the bike shop, and they said, "Hey, you actually have one right here." And I said, "Oh, okay, great." Yeah, I mean, we still even learn. Go ahead and switch interpreters.
Amelia, yeah, so we had a lot of cracks in our tires, and I'm like, wow, what should we do? So honestly, I had no experience with spokes. No, so I was like, who's going to help us? So John, you can see the guy who's sitting down near the bikes. Wow, he was very helpful, you know, and he called the bike shop and tried his best, to fix the tires with tape. And it lasted for the next couple of miles to the bike shop. So if it wasn't for John, we definitely would have had not arrived to the next place. So I'm not sure. Isabel, yeah, I agree. Amelia, so yeah, if we like rolled too fast, and he had spoke problems as well, so we were in this together, and we were grateful to have his support, so we were thankful for John. Bree, yeah, we were very lucky to have John. Actually, to meet John, wow, he's just like, it was just a great experience to connect with someone on the road. And we really didn't talk about him much. And we met him, I want to say, we did cross paths a few times. And it's really just a long story with him. But we crossed paths with him a few times in Colorado. And we started biking and sleeping at the same campsite, Hoosier's Path, and we started sleeping at the same campground. So the next morning, he was like, "Hey, why not? Let's bike together." We went to the same campground from there, and he just kept us company, us for it, because originally it was just us three. We're younger, he's older, he's hearing, we're deaf. We signed, so he spoke, so the communication was there. It was three of us. We were girls, kind of struggling, and he was really experienced with biking. But four of us, we connected, and that bond was just so fine. We had no issues or problems. It was just a great time. So we made friends with John. Yeah, Isabel was very nice. He was learning his ABCs. He was taking his time. Yeah, Amelia, he was very curious about the deaf culture. With facial expressions, how should he react? What he should look out for. So he was very immersed in the culture. So we definitely have respect for him, and he never looked down on us, and he always looked at us as an equal. Bree, yeah, and I think he was from South Carolina. So I'm wondering, will we ever meet again? I'm not sure. So will we ever meet him in person again? Will four of us, when we connected through biking, like what will happen after that? So what will it look like ahead? We're not sure. So we're very curious about that. Bree, I think we have about 7 minutes left to go. Amelia, so you can see a lot of our gear. You see our tents, our clothes. So that day, wow, it was crazy. It was our first and first day of full rain, first and last day of full rain. So that was one of my favorite days, because honestly, it was just fun to bike in the rain. you know, raining all day. We were all soaked, but you know, the next day it wasn't fun because everything was still soaked. It wasn't even dry. Shoes were still wet. The tent was still wet. Clothes were still wet. Everything was just, wow, it was just soaked. It's not pleasing, but you know, it was a good day to remember. And we slept in the back of the patio of the pizza place. Uh, and, you know, the people who rode across America, they knew we were coming. So they said, sure. They let us stay on their back patio for free. So once they closed, we couldn't go in. So we stayed outside, slept there, and went on our way. Bree, yeah, if you see in the first photo, the nighttime with the lights, you know, looking out at nighttime, it's just the big river. It's just a gushing river, and it was raining all night, and the river was just flowing. And I was just like, wow, we're sleeping right here. It was just one of many, you know, unique places that we stayed at. One of my favorite, actually, because the view was so beautiful. And, you know, at the camp that night, we didn't have a cover on our tent, even though it rained. And we can just look out from the tent because we actually had a roof over our heads. So that was a cool thing about that. You see, this is cute, Bree saying, you see the horsies. You see my bike shoes there, and the goat kind of bit it. So these goats are dangerous. They definitely will eat anything. So I was looking out for them, and I got a couple of photos. And you know, we stayed at a country store. I want to say it was in Kansas. Where were we? Because we met the guy with the cats in Kentucky. So we met a guy there, and he camped there at the same area we did, and he biked across America. And he's always biking and traveling a lot with a cat. So he would definitely bring his cat in his front basket. And it was just a beautiful cat, a calico cat. Well, anyways, you know, the goat, it was there, the country store. And it was just, you know, came out of the gate, not a curiosity. It was just came to meet us. You know, it was so cute. We took pictures. And so that photos when he bit my shoe, and you can see there at the bottom of my shoe, that design is for biking, is one of the things that we wore to bike. And that the bottom of our shoe can actually clip onto the pedal. So my body became part of the bicycle. And so if I wanted to unclip, I would have to swivel off. And you know, with that pedal clipping, it always saved our energy because we always pulled up and pushed down as we pedaled. And that helped climbing up hills. It helped going down the hills a little faster, but uphill, it helped us a lot. And us three, we would call it climbing up hills, as we would say. And it saved a lot of energy as well. So that's what it looked like. If you can just, it was small, but you can get an idea, Isabel. Yeah, if people want to bike across America or anything, I suggest clip-ins. It would save a lot of energy. I definitely suggest using that. And we use that a lot, the clip-in shoes, Isabel. And one thing that came to mind is the showers. How do we take a shower? We used a water hose with a towel around us, and we took turns. Yeah, Bree, yeah, in front of everybody. So that was fun. Bree, yeah, we used the hose, and we you know, we had to be clean. It was a thing we had to do. And also, I wanted to add something about the shoes. Yeah, and people suggested that we use those clip-in shoes. At first, when we started biking originally, you know, we did research, we bought what we needed, and we really didn't want to get those clip-in shoes because we thought they were ugly. I said, oh no, I prefer like Vans, Converse, or some cool shoes to bike in, you know, that's what I wanted. But people said, no, 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 I don't suggest that. I suggest clip-ins. I said, no, I don't want clip-ins. So I definitely looked around, and I found a pair that looked like sneakers, and you couldn't really tell that they had the clip-ins at the bottom. So I said, okay, this is fine. But seriously, like road bike shoes, I thought they would look a lot, they looked a lot different. So it's a little awkward to walk in, but these were definitely great for traveling. So I was relieved and got those pair of shoes. Amelia. So in both pictures, you can see the hostel is called Spoke Hostel. That's the first hostel we stayed in that was made for bikers who biked across America. any bikers who bike across America in summer, they have like a summer race who bike across America, which is a competition. And they'll stop by this hostel for free. And it's so cool. They have showers, they have a bed, they have a kitchen. It's a very cool spot. Met a lot of people there. It was just a cool environment. And this is one of our favorite hostels we stayed in. Bree, yeah, it was in a very small town, and not a lot of people lived there, as I remember. Isabel, yeah, I think less than 15. Amelia, I think about 20. Bree, actually in that town, 20? Really, 20 people? Yeah, 20 people. So yeah, it was a really small town, but it was very alive with, this type of cool people who stayed there. So that was fun. Amelia. And the picture on the bottom right, as you can see, I'm laying on the bench there. It was just a lot of places that we stayed in. And most churches just said, hey, come on in. We stayed for free. They knew we were biking across America. So this was one church that we stayed in, very big church and big doors. And I saw a lot of deaf people who had signatures on the wall who biked across America. And it was warmer inside than outside. And I think this was a nice spot to sleep in. I think they made it up for us for the bed. So they made dinner. So for the past couple of months, we definitely slept in a lot of random different places. And this was one of the places. Bree, yeah, I think that's why we were so exhausted. So we were definitely ready to sleep in all these places. Bree, at the top corner, we were at Myth Rock in Oregon. After the three of us went over around the Three Sisters Mountain. We rode around the Three Sisters Mountain, a famous mountain. It's called the Mackenzie's Path. It was very beautiful. It was a long day. And that place is, I think, a national park or a state park. National park it is. So when we got up in the morning at that campground, they had a small rock climbing area. It was very colorful. I said, hey, why not? Let's go eat breakfast on the top of the rock. So I thought it was very beautiful there, beautiful view. So I said, fine, sure, let's go. Made breakfast, the Nutella, peanut butter, banana, and fruit, the same things we ate. We ate, had that beautiful view in the morning, the sunrise. It was very early in the morning, and it was just breathtaking. I really cherished that moment. And the other view is Smith Rock was the big view, a big pretty area that was very nice. So we sat on top of that mountain. It was nice and cheap, so that was fun. Isabel, you can see there the laundry. We went there. It was the third day, and at that time we got some snacks and we ate while we did laundry. We were very hungry, so we did that to kill time. And then we moved over to our campground. And then we went over to another house. So that was just one of our routines that we did. Bree, yeah, I really enjoyed those little moments like that. Bree, a luxurious part of our travels. Amelia, yeah, we got in the water after a long day. It was just wow, it felt so good. It was like a good release for our muscles that was so tensed up. So we really enjoyed that time in the water. Bree, in the next picture, help me out. Where were we? Isabel said Ozark. Yeah, we went all the way we went up and downhill, just biking up and down hills. It was just ridiculous. And then it seems like that area was very popular. Some people know about that campground. Some of you may have went there before, but it's called Circle B Campground. And we stopped there and there was a lot of different people. We had families, RVs, I think they had trailers, all types of things. People were there for vacation and we biked there across America to come to this campground. It's very nice to hang out with those people. Amelia, we met a lot of people biking across America. I mean, so many people. And if you can see, we crossed paths with from east to west and west to east. We met a group of female bikers. We always met guys, but finally we haven't met any women. So, you know, where's the women empowerment? So it was definitely nice to cross paths with them. And they knew about us, they saw about us on social media. And what did we see? The signatures? No, we saw them on social media, and we were so thrilled. And we, you know, had a nice little chat for a short time and then just went our separate ways. Bree, yeah, they was so sweet, so sweet. I really enjoyed it. And the next picture you see here is in Idaho. Isabel, yeah, Idaho. Amelia, yeah, Idaho. So Bree, yeah, that was just like, it was beautiful riding all day. And then when we arrived to that town, it was very hot, very hot. When we got there, we realized we had no place to stay and all the campgrounds were full and booked. They didn't accept bikers and it was expensive. The motels were expensive and we just hopped around. And so I guess we just went ahead and went to a random street. I'm not sure where we went to, or we weren't sure if they had restrooms or anything, but it was filthy. The rooms were filthy. Amelia, yeah, it was raining as well. So we were like, we give up, and we just went to the motel. And we were definitely exhausted, Bree, and we were kind of struggling. It was raining, and we wanted to make sure we had a good night. So we definitely went to that random motel, and we went ahead and paid that chunk of change. So, you know, everything was cheap, but this one was kind of expensive. So we all shared one room. And then I think one of those people with the glasses named Jesse came to our room, knocked on the door, and passed us a note and said, "Hey, do you want to join us for dinner at 7?" I said, we're vegan. I'm not sure. We wanted to stay committed. So they said, yeah, sure. We eat vegan food. It's easy. We can make some for you guys. We already have plans. They had like vegan food and rice. So we went in their room and it just felt like home. And it was an office, but it was an apartment as well. And it was two people that were good friends. They cooked and the five of us had a nice chat. And we ended up, you know, having a good time. Okay, interpreter switch.
Amelia, yeah, you know, there was the one person that was running the motel for the summer. And then after the summer, they were going to return from home. I forgot where they're from. Oh, yeah, Boise. So they were going to go to home and they had a roommate who was deaf. And so that was really perfect. They were able to ask us about all the deaf culture questions. And it was just like, wow, that was really cool, you know, how fate brought us together and gave us a place to stay and some food. And we were able to give them information and advice about the deaf community. So it's just like, wow, what a world that we live in. Bree, yeah, that was a really special night. So I think that's all the pictures. Bree, yeah, not bad. It was about 30 minutes, but we're serious about our Q&A, so make sure we have time. Amelia, so the pictures that we showed are not even, you know, close to half or even like a quarter of what we have. There's so much more that we could share. But, you know, overall, you know, just get a little bit of insight about our 6.5 months of biking. So go ahead and ask any questions. We're really happy to answer those questions. I see Sam has popped up. Sam saying, let me spotlight. Okay, so this is your time to ask questions. You can go ahead and turn on your videos. I see some people have already asked questions in the chat. One question is, what was the one worst moment out of everything, out of your whole trip? What was that worst moment? Interesting question. So I'm curious myself. Bree, that's actually a hard question. Amelia, well, I am a Gallaudet student, finishing up my last year. So I did get to see a lot of people after the trip. And many people asked me that question, you know, what was the worst part? Honestly, I don't have an answer for that. I don't think that there wasn't any situation or an experience that was the worst. You know, obviously we had our down times. There were some frustrating times where we learned lessons, but there's always something to learn from every situation. We always gain something from it. We've had a closer bond because of a situation. I don't know if you two agree with me, but I don't know if there was a worse experience. I don't really have an answer. Bree, yeah, there was some times when we fell or we got hurt. We had some bad moments. I do remember one day I was just so angry. I was just so grumpy for no reason. I was just frustrated with myself. I was just so frustrated. And I don't even know why. Don't ask me why. I mean, the two of them have been very supportive and I love you for that. But it was just that day. I had a bad day, but there's no moments that I regret or the worst experience that I had. Isabel, yeah, a lot of people do ask that question. I also don't have a worst moment. There are some times when I just was fed up with something or we didn't agree on something, but it wasn't something that ruined the whole day. It's not like a memorable thing that I remembered about that day. It's just those moments pass by and you forget about those bad days. I don't think there was a worse day. Things happened, but we persevered and we did it, which means, there was no worse day out of it. Sam, another question. The ASL video that you sent to the Daily Moth, who filmed that? How did you film that so well? How was it so stable without it shaking so much? That ASL story you sent. Bree, that was me. I took the video. I'm very proud of that. So yes, thank you. Thank you for that compliment. I'm trying to think, I believe, yeah, it was a very quiet time. It was downhill, so that was really helpful. I didn't have to pedal. And I was at the same speed and I was really still with my arm. And I followed them the whole time with my arm on my bike and I closed it out from there. And, it was just good practice. Yeah, I just think be slow. Don't try to film too fast. Just, be soft with it. Amelia, yeah, there was many days of biking where you feel like you could have filmed it, right? How many days did you realize that, oh, you needed to film? Bree, yeah, I just didn't want to have a lot of weight on my bike. It's very different when you have that weight off. I felt like I couldn't take my hands off the handlebars. It's not safe to like take your hands off the handlebars, but that time there was no cars or traffic. It was like a really smooth, quiet moment. So it was good. Sam. Angela is thanking you very much for from Off the Grid Missions and talking about how much you've impacted, the organization has impacted people in Haiti. Now that you've been back home, have you thought about that whole process? What takeaways did you take away from this whole experience? It's a good question, right? Amelia. Did you Bree? Bree, it's a complicated question, which means it's a complicated answer, but I'll try to sum it up. But honestly, just lessons of life. I think the biggest takeaway is just my way of life has improved. Seeing every single day what we did, surviving off the bare minimum. And now that I'm home, everything is, within my house. I've got food in my closet. I don't have to bike to get anywhere every day. The things, I don't have to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I can just drive. If it's 100 degrees outside, I could just drive to one place. I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to suffer in the heat to bike or walk. So just a lot more grateful and less stressed in my daily life because I know that I have it good. Isabel, yeah, that was really beautifully said, Bree. I think for me, after I've met so many people and what I ate and how I slept, the outdoors, it really did make me think, seeing things and, just seeing all the litter that was around. I just think, I'm not any better myself if I'm ignoring things. So, if there's a couple things, I could pick it up. But I'm I would ignore it usually. And so biking, I was like, wow, I can pick these things up, and just being kind to people. Um, just be grateful for what I have now. You know, when I was biking, I didn't always have everything with me. And so, now I have the AC. And so I think, okay, well, this isn't even a tough thing to do. Like, I can do this. Like, driving 2 hours is nothing to me. Whereas before it was a lot, and so that way of life. Amelia, yeah, we met so many people. And before we biked across America, there was a lot going on in the world. We had COVID, Black Lives Matter, politics, just so much going on in the world that, we started to lose hope, and humanity started to lose hope and progress, started to analyze everything, started to look at, not in a negative way, but just kind of have a heavier perspective on things. And so when we biked across America, fortunately, we were privileged enough to have this experience that we could, disconnect from all those worldly problems and meet new people and see new places and environments, and the energy and the vibes. I mean, all of it was just fantastic for 6 months. And, the people, just all the kind things that we've received, we've always be grateful for it. We wouldn't have made it to Virginia Beach if it wasn't for the people that we got, and the gifts that we got, and the support that we got, not just from people that we met, but, external people as well. I was just really taken aback by that. And I do think that, people are kind. They can be kind. And, whoever it is, even if I know you or if I don't know you, you can be kind to them and support them if they need it, because, you would want that vice versa. And so that was my takeaway from the trip. Isabel, yeah, I wanted to add to that. When we got to Virginia Beach, after that day, it was really an exhausting day, and it was one of the most exhausting things I've done in my life. But I think, okay, well, I could do something else like this. I think, okay, well, if I want support, I can ask for it. If I eat right, if I do all these things, it's the same thing with whatever I want to do next, whatever goal I have next. It doesn't have to be an activity. It could be work. It could be meeting people. It could be doing things inside the house or doing things outside the house. It could apply to everything. Bree, one more thing to add. I learned so much from Amelia and Isabel too, because we lived 24/7 together. Their discipline, the way that they eat, both of them are vegan. And I just saw so much of that. And that really affected me and made me want to improve myself. So hopefully it's true for the other way around. Amelia's saying, I agree with you too. Bree says, yeah, for sure. Sam, yeah, I think this is, really incredible. Obviously, every single one of you have benefited so much from this experience, and you have so much influence on other people, especially with off the grid missions and your donations. So it's really cool to see your impact on other people as well. I think Valerie, did you have any questions? Valerie, did you have a question? Did you want to go ahead and sign your question? Valerie. So was there anything that you had to change your trip? Like, was there a roadblock? Was it too dark at some point? Did you stick with your trip plan the entire time? Amelia, yeah, we were able to do everything except for this one moment where there's actually a bridge that was closed. We thought it was no big deal. We thought with a bike, we could just get through. We know with a car, there's no way. But we thought, okay, we could just go around and try to go around the bridge. And actually, it was completely closed. And so we were devastated. We really wanted to, travel by the road. Isabel, yeah, we wanted to see the lake and we weren't able to see the lake. Amelia, yeah, we couldn't see the lake. So we had to, reroute. And I think we added some extra miles, or maybe it was about the same, but it was, it was within the same day. It was maybe a 5-mile difference. But yeah, that was actually that one time where we had to go off route. But other than that, I believe we stuck with the plan. Bree, yeah, of course there were some happenings that would, show up, but we would always go back to where we stopped and then we were able to continue from there. Some other groups that we met, that were going west instead of east, we met them later in the summer and there was a lot of wildfires in the Northwest. And so those bikers had to do a lot of detours. And so we nearly missed that wildfires time. And so, there was one point where the three of us, we were riding through the wildfires and we had to mask up because we felt like we were breathing so much smoke. Amelia said, yeah, it was really bad. Bree, yeah, so it wasn't as bad for us three, but for other people, it was a lot tougher for them who were going to the west. Go ahead and switch interpreters.
Thank you for your questions. Okay, another person asked, John, the biker that rode with you guys, have you been in contact with him? Is he within the deaf community now? Or Bree, I have no idea about you two, but me, not much, not at all. No, we're just keeping it up. Isabel, John is not a social media person. He doesn't put up any updates or post anything. So he doesn't follow up with us to see what we're doing now. But from my gut, I just think from the experience we shared about the deaf community and us three as bikers, maybe he's Googling himself based on the things we've told him. So I'm sure he's doing something, but will he use it from here on out and, be within the deaf community? I doubt it. Amelia, yeah, we connected with John for a reason because we wanted to get to Virginia. That was a real reason why we connected. So once we got there, what was the next thing? We had nothing else to, bond with. So we didn't share any goals, anything like that. Well, it wasn't there. So to keep in touch, definitely we would have loved to definitely connect with him again and catch up, maybe to see how he's doing, where he's at, how's life. But we definitely hope him the best. And because the trip, he was definitely our trip friend. He helped us, we helped him out. And after that, we went our separate ways. Bree, yeah, we haven't kept in contact, but we definitely would share those moments of friendship. And that day when the four of us were hanging together, and I think before we finished our trip and parted ways, we because we had a different final destination that we were going. So we parted ways. It was sad. The three of us were a little sad to leave him, and he was sad to leave us as well. So we were like, will he continue to sign? Will he continue to learn about the deaf culture after the trip? So that's something that we're wondering. We're not sure about that. People who, practice with us and talk with us, it's very common that people don't have anyone to practice with. Where of our friends it's just a small town. So, we get it. But it was just that life is life. All right, and the last question that I see, do you guys plan to bike again to Oregon in the future? Or, yeah, definitely. This summer, maybe, Amelia's saying. Isabel, yeah, it was fun. But you can talk about that, Amelia. So a biker who rode across the state of Iowa, I think it was like a 1-week trip. It was just a big group of people. They'll ride together, start at the same place, end at the same place for a week. So it's a fun event that we heard about. And we know about that biker. And so we wanted to do a fun event for a week. So the three of us wouldn't mind doing that, having that reunion and, biking across Iowa for 1 week. I think that'll be a cool thing. Bree, yeah. And honestly, biking is expensive. The bags are expensive. The racks are expensive. It's not a cheap thing to have. And just to use it once, no, it's forcing us to do it again and again. I think we're going to do it for a few times and then we'll be good. Isabel. For myself personally, it's a guy that's riding down the Pacific coast. I heard about that. I want to do that, but when, I'm not sure. But it's always in my mind. That's one of my next goals that I want to do, a long ride for like a month. That's what I want to do. Bree. Also, I've heard about a ride in New Zealand. to bike around the country. So that's something I'm looking into. So maybe one day I hope to grab that opportunity. You know, it's very safe. It's a good time. You can ride alone. Maybe if somebody's not feeling safe or they want to bike, it's just it's a safe road. And I think New Zealand, I've heard a lot of good things about that. So I've heard all around for beginners, for people who have experience. So that's something I wouldn't mind doing one day. Sam, is it like fully around New Zealand or Bree? No, it's like in a big circle. A lot of people do it in New Zealand. It's very beautiful. It's quiet. It's safe from what I've heard. Sam, cool, cool. All right. So one person asks, have you guys had biking experience before this trip? Isabel, yeah, you know, normal biking in the neighborhood, going to the park here and there. That's about it. That's all. No long bike rides with bags and packs, nothing like that. Bree, I thought I had biking experience until I biked across America, and I'm a little like, no, not really. So yeah, I just have a little bit. Amelia, yeah, I'm with Bree. I haven't had experience with biking with bags and packs, you know, maybe like 50, 60 miles or something like that. But across America, you know, riding 50, 60 miles a day. Maybe I would just ride 10 miles before that, but definitely biking across America after that. I definitely have biking experience. Isabel, what the biggest thing that pushed me was my commitment. I was definitely committed, you know, with life. I like to work out, things like that. So, you know, I what could I face? You know, some tough things definitely, but as biking, I definitely picked it up and it all worked out. Bree, and you know the quote, I'm not sure how to exactly say it, but the only way over a mountain is to get over it. You know, not like we can go through it or under it or around it. No, you have to go over it. So, you know, we definitely biked up steep hills. So should we go around it or go back for what? No, we have to move forward. So that was just something we were used to. It wasn't just a little thing like, hey, it's right there. Like, you know, no, I want to go home, but you know, it's home over the mountain. So what we have to do? We have to go forward. Sam, I see a last question. It says, are you biking more now after your trip? And will you use your car less and use your bike more? Bree, I wish. Amelia, yeah, honestly, no. I'm at Gallaudet, so it's hard to bring my bike here in DC. It's not a lot of bikes, safe places for my bike. I really care for my bike. So I'm finding myself not using my bike lately, but I can definitely see myself, you know, after I'm finished with college and, you know, maybe I move somewhere else and settle down, I definitely use my bike much more for transportation, not just for recreational use. You know, maybe I can go to somewhere to pick up food. Like if a store is nearby, I'll definitely use my bike. You know, now I feel like everything is just so close, like Washington to Virginia. Isabel, yeah, I agree with Amelia. The biggest reason now I haven't been biking lately is because of the temperature. It's so cold. I cannot ride. So, you know, I have a certain condition where my hands and my feet really get painful. So it's very a hassle for me. I love biking, you know, during the warm weather, the sun. I don't mind the sweating and the heat. But you know, after biking across America, you know, I definitely ride to the gas station, to the store, pick up movies from Redbox, you know, things like that. But once it gets cold, you know, I'll just put my bike on pause until then. All right, Sam. So we're getting close to the end. I think we have one or two more questions left. How do you guys feel? Bree, are you getting the questions from chat or where are you getting them from? Sam, yeah, the chat box. Bree, okay, I see him now. I see him now. Sam, so I haven't seen anything so far, any new questions. Isabel, one thing I want the audience to know about Trans Am is it brings you to many scenic views out there. You know, that's one nice thing about that route. It's not boring. It's not just the desert, anything to see. You know, they have a lot of special and unique places that you can ride through. Bree. I think it was only like one state that was just like I think it was Kansas. It's a beautiful state, but it was just for me. I know Amelia likes it a lot, but I was struggling with Kansas because it was just a barn. It was very far. I saw a barn, and we're just biking forever and ever, and that barn is still there, getting closer and closer. So I'm just little. It was just driving me crazy just a little bit. Isabel, yeah, they didn't have any like water or anything like that. Amelia, I think the opposite. I think that's what really motivated me. Because if we pass that barn, I know it's like, what's the next stop? What's the next goal? So that was my chance to say, hey, let's keep going. So I did enjoy that. I really enjoyed all the states, but Kansas was different. Isabel, yeah, it was definitely nothing out there. Amelia, yeah, I remember one state we went through. It wasn't really a lot. I think it was like one gas station and maybe like a few houses. That was about it. Isabel, yeah, like a library. Amelia, yeah, and then we went to the next city. It was like hoping we can find some better, some food. So that was just our life, our life out there. Bree, any more questions? Sam, I have a question for you all. For those who are new and they want to bike across America and they want to do a trip like this, you have any wise tips or any advice for them? Amelia, do it. If you want to, if you're thinking about it, just do it. Isabel, so some advice I would give is don't doubt yourselves. If you want it, if you want it for a reason, maybe it's no reason as well, just go ahead and do it. It's definitely worth it. It's fun, it's tough, and you're always going to look back at these memories and have those stories to tell. And it's definitely fun when you're actually doing it. It's going to feel like forever, but you're going to have these stories forever. And you're not never going to talk about it. You're definitely going to have these memories. Bree, what was I going to say? Oh yeah, so each trip across the Trans Am or across America is different, period. So your experience will be different with different people, friends, how long you're doing the route, if you're doing it fast, slow, if it's long or short. With the three of us, however your trip is and what it looks like, it's fine. Don't compare to us. Don't compare to other groups. Maybe your family is like, oh, comparing this and that. No, it's yours. This trip is yours. Whatever you choose to do with it, it's yours. And you have to make it your own story. Amelia. Yeah, I was actually going to say the same thing. It's so beautiful. Sam, and one person just sent in, will you guys write a book about your journey? Bree, no. Isabel, no, well, I plan to make a scrapbook, just for my personal use. Am I going to sell it? No, not for any gains. And Isabel, I've started, but it's not ready yet. Amelia, so we definitely want to have something. We want to keep, having events, presentations, anything to keep this going forward. So, say women can do this. We have to empower. We definitely want to continue this and, have that support throughout. So that's one thing that's not going to stop. But writing a book, making a movie, all of that, no, none of that. That's nothing that we're looking at too. Sam, so not yet, you're saying. Amelia, I guess. Bree, never say never. All right, Sam, I guess we're going to tie this up soon. So I really want to say thank you so much for talking about your journey. I feel so inspired. And you guys definitely made history. 3 deaf women riding across America. Now everyone can do it. It's no barriers. You can do it. This is your dream. If you have to grab that opportunity and make that dream happen. So I just want to grab the opportunity to say thank you so much. And thank you to REI for your sponsorship. Without REI, this wouldn't be possible. So thanks to REI, and also thanks to Trailblazing Interpreters for providing interpretation. Thank you so much. Yes, thank you, interpreters. Thank you, Sam. And of course, please think about donating to Off the Grid Mission. Go ahead and grab the opportunity to donate to them. We will donate to them, core that. So instead of paying them, we'll donate. So, you know, you got to get it. This is nonprofit work, and this is very important. So we have to cherish these moments and donate, please. Please donate. Bree. So you can donate through our fundraiser on our Facebook page, Instagram page. We have a link there. I have to find it. Amelia, I can send it. Sam, yeah, you can send it through the chat. Bree, yeah, we have the link on our page. So the fundraising is still open. It's not closed. So you can donate through that link. Sam, okay, that's cool. So please, yes, grab the opportunity to donate if you can. $1, $2, $5. Anything makes a big difference. Yes, Bree, every dollar counts. Sam, also, you can also follow us, Core That, on Instagram. Also, you can follow them on their Instagram and Facebook. And we'll definitely have another event. We'll have a panel about the deaf outdoors. Different people who had different experiences, different expeditions, going on journeys and different programs in the outdoors. So they'll take a chance to talk about their experience. All right. Bree, yes, definitely follow Core That. Sam, also we'll email you guys, the participants, the survey about your experience, the feedback. So we'll definitely send you guys out a link. Also, if you want to take the opportunity to chat with us through a Zoom, we'll be down for that. So thank you all. Thank you everybody for joining tonight.